The following is a presentation of the Watertown Baseball Association in partnership with Aero TV and KXLG Radio. This is coverage of the 2025 State A American Legion Baseball Tournament from historic Watertown Stadium on Post 17 TV. Now, let's head down to the diamond and round the bases with the KXLG pregame show on Post 17 TV.
To the KXLG pregame show here on Post 17 TV. We're getting ready for the final game of night number 2 and day number 2. It's game number 8, and it's going to be a good one with Watertown taking on Harrisburg. I'm Jeremy Herbold, along with Roger Merriam from the Watertown Public Opinion. Roger, been a long day. You've been here the whole time. It's been fun.
I've been here 2 days, and today was better. It's a little cooler, a little nicer, pretty much kind of shaded. Now we got some sun, where last night it rained the last game for us. It looks like it's going to be real nice night. Still time. Yeah. Still seating available.
It's going to be filling up. Todd, we had Todd Judding joining us as well here tonight as well. Thanks for joining us, Todd. And 1,300 people here last night. Boy, people in Watertown, they love their baseball.
Absolutely, especially when you got a team of the success that they've had this year. And, to me, that, breeds success, brings people in, and people like to watch teams win. And, hopefully tonight they can come up with another win and advance in the tournament.
Well, tonight it's Watertown against Harrisburg. Now, don't let Harrisburg fool you. They have a record of 17 wins and 20 losses. How can that even be, Roger?
I don't know. I really don't. They got talented players growing out of trees, I think, or something. I don't know. But, that Kokenge, their ace pitchers going to University of Minnesota, did not pitch much all summer. They had 2 or 3 guys out of their lineup that played in the high school season, including Gavin Weir. Yep. So they have missed that. But, man, their shortstop's got a cannon for an arm. The guys that pitched last night look good. We just saw Safransky warming up here. He didn't have any arc on the ball. He was bringing it pretty good. So
it was moving.
Yeah, and Noah Boucher, like I said, he hit a 370-foot grand slam bomb the opposite field. So, and we're only mentioning half the team, and
we could go on and on. Let's talk a little bit about Watertown, Todd. Tonight we're going to have Talon Juergens on the mound, and last night, of course, Watertown went with Caden Rylance, had a good performance, and now we're going with number 2, Talon Juergens. What's he got to do to be successful tonight?
Well, like Roger said when he finally got done talking, was a simple fact that, the defense is going to have to help him, I think. He's got to keep the ball down, help keep the ball in the park, and, he's got to get success pounding the strike zone, and then the defense has to help him as well. So, it's going to be a heck of a matchup. 2 obviously very good teams, and like you said, the record of Harrisburg doesn't show the talent that they have on that roster. They're a very solid team, and Watertown's got a fair enough team themselves. You look at some kids they got up and down the lineup, and they're gonna have to put the ball in play, I think, more than they've shown so far this state tournament, and hopefully then they'll be able to do some things that way.
Got to hit the nail on the head with the throwing strikes with Talon, because I think if we give cheap runs to them by walking people and wild pitches and things like that, it's going to be a tough night. But if you give up a double after a single and you give up 1 run, big deal, And so
it's going to be a big game, and we're going to be going here back to the truck here and get ready for the game. We'll be back, of course, afterwards with the KXLG postgame show and during the game for KXLG inside the game during the 4th inning as well. So much more coming up. The game right around the corner. Going to be a good one. Watertown versus Harrisburg in the Class A State American Legion Baseball Tournament, day number 2. Back to the truck.
Welcome to Watertown Stadium, historic Watertown Stadium. I'm Brendan Nathaniel, is Nate Russell. Glad to have you along here, Post 17 TV, and it's the big one, Watertown and Harrisburg here this evening. Winner moves on to play Rapid City 3:20 tomorrow. The loser Oof, that is a tough game. You get Rapid City 22 tomorrow in the elimination game at 4 o'clock. But we'll have all those games here on Post 17 TV. But it has been a big day here at the tournament. Before we talk about this one, it's been kind of a day of, day one was upsets. Today was the day of the comeback, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of these games, with the exception of the Harrisburg versus Yankton game, have been pretty competitive, and today, no different. Brandon Valley almost coming back on, 22, and then Renner playing that tight game, 2-0 until the 7th, ends up being 6-0. That score not indicative of how that game was, and then really, we're going to hopefully see a pretty competitive game here in this last one.
Now, one of the things you and I are both talking about is we are not going to see Eli Kokenge start for Harrisburg. We're going to see Darren Safransky start on the hill here for Harrisburg tonight.
And Safransky, 38 innings pitched all season long. He's made 8 starts. He's got a 5-2 record. So they're not putting somebody out there that is new to starting. At a 5-2 record, he holds it down pretty well. The numbers that stuck out to me for Safransky, a 3.44 ERA. So we're talking probably an opportunity to get 4 runs, possibly more, and a 1.733 whip. So as a coach, what that means to me is there's pretty close to 2 runners available to us as long as we have good at bats every single inning. That means if you're getting 2 runners on, you're probably getting guys in scoring position, which is where that 3.44 ERA is probably coming into play. Now, the other thing that stuck out to me, 38 walks and 46 Ks for Safransky. So he does have more guys set down than he's issued free passes to, but 38 walks is nothing to ignore. If Watertown's patient, they may be able to find an opportunity to get on base.
For Watertown, their number 2 pitcher out there will be Talon Jurgens, and not surprised, it's a 1-2-3 punch for Watertown. It goes Caden Rylance, Talon Jurgens, and we'll probably see Jackson McClemens coming your way tomorrow. But Talon Jurgens going to bring a whole bunch of talent here for Watertown on the mound.
Yeah, 73 innings pitched, so Talon's body of work much larger than Safransky's. He's had 10 starts. He has a 9-3 overall record, and really a 2.5 ERA, a 1.37 whip. So the number's slightly better, tilting Jurgens' way. So hopefully we have a doozy out there and we see a great ball game.
Well, it's time to get our starting lineups here at the stadium, and for all of that, starting lineups and our national anthem, we will throw things down the field to our public address announcer, Tyler Merriam.
Number 8 of the tournament, a winner's bracket contest featuring the visiting team on the scoreboard. In the third base dugout, the Tigers of Harrisburg, post 45. And the home team in the first base dugout, the Arrows of Watertown, post 17. At this time, we'll introduce the starting lineups for each team. Let's begin with the visitors from Harrisburg. Leading off and playing third base, number 12, Eli Kokenge. Batting second, first baseman, number 16, Noah Boucher. Batting third, right fielder, number 10, Tayton Muntz. The cleanup batter, designated hitter, number 15, Bryson Esser. Batting fifth, the shortstop, number 7, Ethan Beek. Batting sixth, catcher, number 13, Michael Oakland. Batting seventh, center fielder, number 1, Ty Raymond. Batting eighth, second baseman, number 4, Griffin Schlopkohl. Batting ninth, the left fielder, number 8, Gabe Long. The starting pitcher, number 6, Darren Safransky. cast of Harrisburg Post 45 with bat boy Luke McEwen, assistant coach Zeb Weedy, and the head coach Will Simmons. Now let's meet the starting lineup for the home team, Watertown Post 17. Leading off and playing third base, number 2, Hayden Reese. Batting second, right fielder, number 5, Mitch Olson. Batting third, center fielder, number 22, Marcus Pitkin. The cleanup batter, shortstop, number 23, Nate Briggs. Batting fifth, first baseman, number 16, Caden Rylance. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 10, Jonathan Lake. Batting seventh, second baseman, number 7, Trayton Hemrick. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, number 4, Carter Bisker. Batting ninth, left fielder, number 1, Cole Hansen. The starting pitcher, number 14, Talon Juergens. The bat boy, Phoenix Thomas. And the rest of Watertown Post 17 with assistant coaches Nick Geffrey and Travis Schmidt and head coach Ryan Neal. The 3 men in red tonight that will be administering our affair. Home plate umpire Greg Warren, first base umpire Mike Deming, and third base umpire Johnny Kirshner. At this time, we ask that you all please rise and remove your hats for the reading of the American Legion Code of Sportsmanship, to be followed by the singing of our national anthem. First to recite the code, representing the South Dakota State American Legion Athletic Commission, Mr. Elton Bleemaster.
All right, everybody, good evening. Welcome to the greatest youth sport in America, American Legion Baseball. And the most important part of American Legion Baseball is sportsmanship. So please repeat after me. I will keep the rules, keep faith with my teammates, keep my temper, keep myself fit, keep a stout heart in defeat, keep my pride under in victory, keep a sound soul, a clean mind, and a healthy body.
At this time, we ask that you all please honor the flag beyond the fence in left field as we have the performance of our national anthem by Mandy Shea.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the brave?
Very nice rendition of our national anthem, and we are ready for baseball here at Watertown Stadium. I'm Brent Nathaniel, he's Nate Russell, along with the crew from Aero TV and KXLG Radio. We are very, very proud to be bringing you the entire 2025 Class A American Legion State Baseball Tournament here this week. Well, for Harrisburg, their starting lineups, Kokenge, Boucher, and Muntz will be the first three. Talon Juergens will oppose on the hill. For Watertown, you know, they're trying to get their first state tournaments, their first state championship since 1931. And for Harrisburg, it was just a couple of years ago, 2023, when Harrisburg Gold took home the gold that year. You look for Watertown, and this is a very talented team trying to live up to that third place finish last year, where the team went 46-25 and set a bunch of records. And well, we saw that early in the year with a lot of pressure. The boys really felt that pressure. You're hosting the tournaments. The first half of the year, the high school season, Watertown didn't play quite as well and actually ended up running into Harrisburg in the opening round of that state tournament, losing to Harrisburg, the high school team, 7-2. Since then, Watertown's gone on a tear, 26-13 in the Legion season. But here's the story of the tournament. These two teams in the Legion season did not play each other. These two teams getting fresh looks at each other here tonight.
And really, the difference in high school ball, that NFHS rule set changes things a little bit. You play late spring in May. These are two completely different teams, and they talked about it a little bit in the pregame. Harrisburg, one of those teams that's suffering that plague of, we have really good guys that are going to play college ball, and those guys then moved on to either go play travel ball or to go play their summer ball with their college teams. And so things will be a little bit different this time around, having not played each other, and then also being slightly different teams than what they saw from each other.
Harrisburg comes in to the Legion tournament with a record of 16-20 on the year. Beat Brookings 2-0 in the Super Regional, 7-2 and 6-1. So some pretty decisive victories to get into the state tournaments. And you know, yesterday Harrisburg blanking Yankton, the 2 seed, 8-0. And boy, Harrisburg Gold, they're really proving that they're a tough team here in the tournament. First pitch goes into Kokenge. It'll go down for ball. 1 ball, no strikes here to Eli Kokenge. That is a ground ball. Going to take a hop into left field. That'll be a base hit as Harrisburg will get a man on, the leadoff man on here in the first.
And that time Kokenge sitting on fastball, gets it from Juergens, and Reese took a swipe at it. We're starting to kind of get to that time of day where the sun starts to set over that first baseline. I think Reese kind of maybe losing that one for a second. I mean, it was a hot shot regardless. It was a hot single either way.
Noah Boucher to the batter's box now here for Harrisburg, as he'll take that one and send it into right field. Olson going to track that one down for the first out of the inning. One away. It's 8 months to the plate now, but as you'll see on that camera view right there, going to affect our camera here in about, so I'd say 20-25 minutes or so. We had it last night, had that kind of that sun flare on that camera, but sun getting ready to come down here at the stadium and going to affect those outfielders a little bit.
I tell you what, though, the sun coming out, a welcome sight from the overcast that it's kind of been all day. It's a beautiful sight for this game.
As that one is fouled into the dirt. 0-1 for Muntz.
And if you're Juergens, one pitch getting the fly out to right field by Boucher there, that's kind of where you want to live. Juergens a guy that he's going to kind of put it up there and go, here it is, come get it. And Harrisburg proving yesterday they can do damage with it.
That pitch going to go down for a ball. 1-1 the count here to Muntz. Talent fires in. He'll fire it right down the middle there for a strike. 1-2 to Muntz.
Not a bad spot for Harrisburg to put their leadoff guy in motion here. Probably expecting some type of off-speed pitch.
Fouled off. Count is still 1-2. Kokenge, the man on first, got there with the leadoff single here in the first.
And a lot of teams nowadays, you get a pitcher like Kokenge, you don't get the luxury a lot of times of having that type of athlete also on the base paths and in the field. Obviously something they wanted to capitalize on, playing him at third.
That one goes a little bit high, 2-2. Harrisburg Gold, their coach, saying they struggled this season with inconsistency overall, but really a feeling that they got back on track at the end of the season, kind of playing some of their best ball going into the state tournaments. That one goes high as now the count is full at 3-2.
And some of that probably comes from, again, they had one team, one core in the spring season, and so this new core has to learn to play together, and it sounds like they started figuring that out.
That one's in the dirt, ball 4, and there's 2 on for Harrisburg here in the first inning. That'll bring to the plate Bryson Esser, the DH. Only one away here in the top half of this first inning as Juergens now with 2 on. Trying to work his way through this inning.
The DH and 4 hitter, the cleanup hitter coming to plate here. So a little bit of a trouble spot for Juergens here in the first.
That is going to be smacked into left field. Going back, grabbing that one was Hansen for the second out of the inning.
Pretty well struck, made Hansen retreat on that one. If it's a slower left fielder, maybe that has a shot at getting down. Hansen, as we've talked about, is kind of the bunt specialist, right? His speed is deadly. Flagging that one down, pretty low effort.
To the plate now is Ethan Beek. 2 on, 2 away. Top of the first inning here for Harrisburg. Juergens fires in a first pitch ball to Beek.
And if you're Juergens, you're 1 pitch away here. You were 1 pitch away before, but now you only need a single out. Getting a ground ball somewhere is not the worst thing in the world.
Strike the call there, 1-1.
And if you're back at the plate here, you just want to find a hole somewhere, some early damage, get things rolling. That's kind of what they ended up doing to Yankton when they buried him yesterday.
Ball there, 2-1. Harrisburg got here, like you mentioned, on an 8-0 win over the 2 seed Yankton. First Yankton winning today, ending the year of Pier, 3-2. That one went to 9. Strike the call, makes it even at 2-2.
2-2 count here. You've got runners on. You're probably not trying to do anything too fancy if you're Juergens. I'd be surprised if he doesn't probably do something elevated here. Try and get the eye level up.
Ground ball gonna be stopped there by Briggs, and he's gonna run over. Now we're gonna get a rundown, and the tag is out right at home for the third out as Kokenge was trying to get greedy and get that run in, and Watertown cuts him off to end the inning unscathed. Scoreless as we enter the bottom of the first inning between Watertown and Harrisburg. You're watching Post 17 TV.
The best way to get the most out of college is to do the most while you're in it. At Lake Area Tech, you'll learn in living, working environments. with hands-on training and real-world experience to prepare for a high-paying career you love right out of school. From the moment you step on campus until you're one of our graduate success stories, when you start something here, you'll get an education you can really put to work and the best return on your investment. Lake Area Tech, the start of something new.
At Active Heating, you could say we specialize in comfort, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, air and water quality. Active Heating is ready. Too hot or too cold? Our certified comfort experts for Coleman Heating and Cooling equipment can help. Don't let a leak drain your bank account. Our plumbers can handle it. Improve your air and water quality with an air purifier and reverse osmosis system from Active Heating, your local Coleman dealer. Active Heating of Watertown and Brookings, your comfort experts.
Looking for a way to show your school spirit and support the Watertown School District? With the Aero Spirit card from American Bank and Trust, you can do both. Every time you use your Aero Spirit debit card, a portion of your purchase goes right back to the school, helping fund important programs and activities. It's a win for you and a big win for our students. Visit your local American Bank and Trust at 1715 First Avenue Northeast today to sign up and make a difference with every swipe. American Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Bottom of the first inning, scoreless between Harrisburg and Watertown. And let's go back to that play to end out the first inning. Some discussion afterwards here with the Harrisburg coach and the umpires. What were they discussing on that one?
So that play there, Kokenge gets caught in the pickle, starts heading home. The throw's late from Himrick. Kokenge, the expectation there is that he slides. When it comes to high-level baseball like this, collisions like that can happen. There are specific rules in place to avoid contact. And so what we always teach players is if you have a spot where you may come into contact, and here you see Kokenge not really making a lot of effort to get out of the way of Lake there, and that's where the discussion comes in at. You're taught that you have to avoid collision and really almost taking a step in. I'm not going to say that's malicious contact, but there's at least the opportunity for discussion. And as an umpire, if you feel that's malicious contact, that is an automatic ejection.
Reese, Olson, and Pitkin, the first three for Watertown here at the bottom of this first inning. First pitch goes down for a strike. Strike two into Hayden Reese, batting .272 on the year. Safransky, the starting pitcher here for Harrisburg in this game. As that pitch goes down for a ball, 1-2. Safransky working quickly up there on the hill.
Safransky working quickly and good patience here by Reese.
Big swing and a miss. Strike number 3 and the first out of the inning. That'll bring to the plate for the Arrows, Mitch Olson.
And I think part of the discussion in between innings there with the umpires is just simply they may have been talking about malicious contact and really the play kind of happening in front of them.
That first pitch goes outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes here to Olson.
As an umpire, you never want to be put in a position of having to make that call, and so opting to leave Kokenge in the game, but understanding if they get into another position like that, it's going to be a pretty automatic hook.
That one sent foul. 1-2 to Olson.
And if you're a batter in the box, Safransky moving very quickly, you have to give yourself the opportunity to get settled in there, and that's going to be a tough thing to do.
That pitch goes for a ball. 2-2 now the count here to Mitch Olson.
Won't be surprised if we see him call time here, try and get settled in, throw off Safransky's rhythm.
Foul the way again, 2-2. As now he's going to step out of the box and try to disrupt that rhythm a little bit. That pitch goes outside for a ball, fills up the count at 3-2.
And it's possible we're going to see a lot of high pitches. Safransky, kind of that low delivery slot. The ball can tend to rise at times.
Big swing and a miss. Strike number 3. The second K for Safransky and the second out of the inning. That'll bring to the plate for the Arrows, Marcus Pitkin.
And when you have a pitcher that you're facing that has kind of that low three-quarter, almost basically flat sidearm delivery, and the ball kind of rises, it becomes that much more important that you find a way to get on top of the baseball.
As that one is going to be sent into left center. Coming on is Raymond. He'll make that grab for the final out of the inning. Watertown goes down in the order. No runs, no hits, no one left on bag. We're off to the second, scoreless between the Arrows and Harrisburg. This is Post 17 TV.
In town for the game or just passing through? Well, swing by Country Road Barn, home of the area's best smoked meats, brisket, ribs, pulled pork, all slow smoked to perfection and served with that small town charm. They're open Wednesday through Friday, 5 until 9 p.m., so plan your visit and bring your appetite. It's a true taste of small town South Dakota and worth every mile. The Country Road Barn, just minutes from Watertown and a home run for your hunger. Stay connected with them on their Facebook page or website.
As one of the nation's strongest financial organizations, First Premier Bank and Premier Bank Card have the strength to do good. We support nearly 700 organizations and nonprofits. Our employees give more than 30,000 volunteer hours annually. And we are continually seeking ways to make South Dakota an even better place to live. It's the Premier way. First Premier Bank and Premier Bank Card.
Oakland, Raymond, Schleppkold, 2 up for Harrisburg. Top of the second inning, scoreless between these two squads. First pitch is a swing and a miss. 0-1 here to Oakland. Talon at 16 pitches so far, as that one will go for a ball. 1-1 to Oakland. That one's going to take a hop. 2-1. It seems like Juergens kind of driving that ball a little bit off the mound.
Yeah, it seems like Juergens probably has a little bit of extra adrenaline pumping. Obviously a very big game. And sometimes when you didn't quite get the arm loose, you tend to overemphasize your mechanics.
3-1 here to Oakland.
And the other thing that can happen here, Juergens has kind of that hitch once he gets down there and loads.
Big swing and a miss, fills it up at 3-2.
And the good thing that it does for him is it allows him to generate power towards home plate. The downside to it is there's a lot that can go wrong in there.
That is popped up, and we'll go foul.
One of the biggest knocks on the windup for pitchers is you get your body moving so many different directions, and pitching is a lot about balance and making sure that you get everything in connection and then working together towards home plate. And so once you get to a windup, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And then when you have a hitch in there the way Juergens does, there's even more.
Big swing and a miss. Strike number 3. And the first out of the inning. To the plate for Harrisburg Gold is Ty Raymond.
The good news for Juergens is he's pitching at home. He's pitching on a mound that he's familiar with. And at that point, that can allow him to make small adjustments to his delivery at home.
First pitch goes down for a strike. 0-1 to Raymond. What is the mentality when you're pitching at home in a game like this as pitching in somebody else's field?
The mound is different everywhere you go, and so just having that feel of every time that I gather, every time I go home, I know where to land. I know it's going to be flat or high or low in certain spots, and so it allows you to mentally not think so much about here's how I need to land or here's where I need to land. You just go up there and you focus on here's the target, go hit it.
That is a grounder, going to get through the gap into left field. That'll be a base hit as Raymond will reach here in the second inning. So another base runner now, the third base runner we've seen on the base pass for Harrisburg in this ball game. And that'll bring up to the plate Griffin Schlupko.
Really good piece of hitting there by Raymond. Gets a fastball that he's able to get on top of and just kind of muscles that thing through the hole in between Briggs and Reese. Getting a base runner on again for Harrisburg.
That is going to be delivered into center field. Going to drop down for a base hit. Scooped up there by Pickin. Back-to-back singles here for Harrisburg in the second as Raymond slides to second. Schlupko over to first.
Schlupko right on time, delivers that ball just to the left of straight center. It looked like Pitkin that time. That was a line drive that he got a couple of steps in on and went, I'm not going to make it there. I'm just going to gather this thing and make sure it's only a single and only one base for Raymond as well.
A beautiful view of Watertown Stadium here tonight. If you don't look at the mud in the parking lot, but yeah, it is turned to a beautiful night here at the stadium. First pitch goes down into Gabe Long for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes here to Long. That pitch up and away, 2-0.
And without trying to sound like a broken record, Brent, pitches under stress for Juergens. Runner at second here, a scoring threat. He was able to work out of it last inning, having to do it again this inning.
Pitch number 30 on the way, and that's going to be delivered in for a strike. 2-1.
And if you're Harrisburg, you're doing a really good job of getting traffic on the bases, making sure that that pitcher is having to pitch not only at 30 pitches, like you said, for Juergens, but having to do those, having to work hard.
That one's going to be fouled into the backstop. 2-2. Blackout here tonight for the Arrows fans at Watertown Stadium. We had 1,300 people here last night for the 7 o'clock game. I'd say we're close to that here tonight, maybe a little bit less, but still a lot of fans here to cheer on their Arrows.
Really good crowd. Few more open seats, like you said, than we saw last night. Perhaps the opponent makes a difference there, right? Maybe Pierre traveled a little bit better.
2-2. Big swing and a miss. Strike number 3. The second out of the inning and the second K for Juergens as we go back up to the top of the order. Second time through the order. That'll bring up Eli Kokenge, the U of Minnesota recruit.
And if you're Juergens, you've gotten 2 outs. You're not excited about the prospect of having to face a U of M recruit in Kokenge, but you are 1 pitch away. Now, Kokenge did his work early in the count. Let's see if he's a little more patient this time now that he has RBI opportunity.
First pitch goes down for a ball, and the crowd wanted the strike.
Something I've learned about the Watertown crowd so far. They want every pitch. So
I don't think it's just the Watertown. I think it's every crowd.
Everybody,
they
right?
want the strikes. That is delivered into left field. Drops down for a base hit. It's trouble, and it looks like it is going to be an RBI single here for Kokenge as Harrisburg gets on the board in the second inning.
And like I said, I figured Kokenge was probably going to try and do his work early in the count. Not getting that corner call there for Juergens forced him back into the zone. Kokenge doing a good job of getting a line drive over Reese there, driving in a run. And just like yesterday, Harrisburg getting on the board early.
Noah Boucher to the plate now for Harrisburg Gold. First pitch goes high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes here to Boucher, who flew out to the right field in his last at-bat in the first.
And that fly out, not soft contact. It did drive Olsen back a little bit as well.
That one is going to be driven into right center. Going to drop down at the base hit. That is trouble. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. It's a 2 RBI double by Noah Boucher.
And right on cue, like I said, his contact to right field was not soft. That one driven well into the gap in between Pitkin and Olsen. And if you're Coach Neal, what you're talking about right now with your guys, once they do get back into the dugout, yes, we've given up a couple of runs. Baseball's a long game. It's only the second inning. There's a lot to be played yet. We haven't even batted for a second inning yet. And so while things are stressful, there's still an opportunity for a comeback. Like we said, today's been the day of the comeback.
First pitch goes to Tate Muntz for ball. And as seen, I called all the home games this year for Watertown Post 17. And, you know, one of the things we always talked about with Coach Neal when he'd come up for postgame was this Arrow squad, they have fights. They are not going to give up until that last out. They have fights, and they've seen it all season long with their, you know, kind of downward trend in the first half of the year in the high school season, and fighting through that, and then coming out and just playing relaxed baseball during the Legion season.
And I don't think there's any team, I'm going to say in the country, right, that shows up to a game and goes, oh, we're just going to fold. With that said, though, there are some teams that fight a little bit better than others, Brandon Valley being one that we talked about, right? Their state title run for the high school season demanded comeback after comeback, and late, not early, late. If you're Harrisburg here, it's going to be really important that you stay foot on the gas pedal here. You've got 3 in, but you got to know, against a lineup like Watertown's, it's not going to be enough to get 3.
That is going to be delivered into center field. Pitkin tracks it down for the out there, the final one of the inning. But Harrisburg tacks on 3 as we had a new score. To the bottom of the second inning we go, 3-0 Harrisburg Gold. This is Post 17 TV.
Glacier Lakes Power Sports and Golf is your indoor golf destination in Watertown, South Dakota. We have 4 golf simulators available to rent 7 days a week. Call us at 605-954-4080 to reserve your time, or visit our website at glpowersports.com.
Infinity Fun is the place to be. They got trampolines, they got bowling, they got mini golf, they got games, they got food that's insanely good. Infinity Fun, they got trampolines, they got bowling, they got mini golf, they got games, they got food that's insanely good. Infinity Fun.
Open 7 days a week in Watertown.
Your starting lineup for KXLG Radio. Leading off at the front desk, Lori Kane. On the air, your power hitters, Jeremy Herbold, Ben Dilla, Jan Robson, Tim Williams, Gary Weckworth, Robin Givens, Doreen Foster, and Jaden Thomas. If it's news, Steve Jurens hits it out of the park. In sales, your closers, Andy Turback, Ben Dilla, Nicole Kraus, and Brody Reese. And skipper, Melissa Herbold. KXLG, your locally owned community radio station, still undefeated.
Bottom of the second inning, 3-0 Harrisburg. Watertown will send Briggs, Rylance, and Lake to the plates here in this inning. As we were talking off the air here, Nate, for Harrisburg, their last 3 games, they have scored 23 runs and only given up 3. That's it.
That's a pretty big differential, and it speaks to how important it is if you're Watertown to start putting together some good at-bats here. They went down 1-2-3 in the first inning, and if you're Harrisburg, it gives you that much confidence, right, that you're in the position exactly where you want to be.
1-1 to Briggs. Briggs, Rylance, and Lake again, the first 3 for Watertown this half inning. Fouled into the backstop. 1-2.
And if you're Coach Neal, you'd like to see a run or 2 here. With Jurgens already at 39 pitches, you're already going through the motions of, okay, who is the next guy up? He probably had that planned already, but then when do we pull the trigger?
That is sent deep into center field. Grabbing it is Raymond for the first out of the inning. F8 in the books, 1 away. That'll bring up Caden Rylance. I'm sure Coach Neal had that next pitcher planned about 3:30 this morning.
3:30 this morning or about 3 months ago? Hard to say.
So Rylance will step to the plate, the SDSU recruits. As he'll take a big swing and a miss for a strike.
Pretty healthy cut there. Felt like he was seeing the ball well, just missed it. And a couple of flyouts to center field here for Briggs and Pitkin. Again, important to get on top of the baseball with a guy that has Safransky's release point.
1-1 the count here to Rylance. That one goes outside, 2-1.
And you can just tell the way that Rylance is taking these pitches, he's seeing the ball from Safransky's hand relatively well.
Big swing and a miss, and that'll be a strike. 2-2 the count. That is going to go into the backstop, still 2-2 counts. Rylance this season was actually the guy that put together the majority of our social media graphics, the game day graphics and the final score graphics for Post 17 Baseball's social media.
You know, I've heard of a utility man before, but I've never known anybody that does it all in terms of then also going and putting social media together.
That pitch goes down low for a ball. So based on balls, and Watertown gets their first man of the night on. To the plate now, Jonathan Lake. Yep, I would get a text because I'm doing the social media for the Baseball Association this year. I get a text every morning from Cato. Here's the game day graphic, and then every night on either the bus ride home or the next morning, I would get that text. Here's the graphic, and put it out there. Did a really good job. Lake with the first pitch, strike.
And first opportunity here for the Post 17 Arrows to see Safransky from the stretch.
1-1.
And this is relatively important because for the delivery that Safransky has, it's hard to get your body then oriented and get everything behind that arm. He's got a really long lever to it, and when it's got that lower arm slot, it's hard to get it all combined to get it at the zone.
1-2 the count here to Jonathan Lake, batting .316 on the year, as that is a grounder foul down the third base line. So 1-2 the count remains here to Lake as Safransky at 26 pitches.
I have a feeling Safransky's not going to do anything too fancy here. It's probably going to be something like a high fastball, maybe some type of off speed, going to try and get it down and in.
Goes outside. 2-2.
With a delivery like Safransky has, that's a hard pitch to execute because everything, that whip in that arm allows you to overthrow that instead of painting it.
Low fills up the count, 3-2. It's almost knuckleball-like. Kind of.
Kind of.
Big swing and a miss for strike number 3. And the second out of the inning, the third K for Safransky in this ball game. As to the plate now will go Trayton Hemrick.
And I don't think that the low outside fastball or the one that was just low straight down the middle or setup pitches, I think those were ones that Safransky was intending to try and hit a corner with, but they had the unintended effect of then getting Lake to chase inside.
First pitch goes down for a strike into Hemrick, batting .272 on the year. That is sent into the gap. Left field, that'll be a base hit. And now there's 2 on for the Arrows with 2 away here in the bottom of the second inning.
Good piece of hitting there by Hemrick. He got strike one on him, got to see the ball coming out of Safransky's hand, got the barrel on top of that baseball, drove a single through that gap there. Nobody really had a chance at that play between Kokenge and Beeks. So, again, 2 runners on here now. If you're the Arrows, it's a chance. Scratch one.
Carter Bisker to the plate as he'll take a first pitch, and that's going to go into the backstop, 0-1. Bisker the DH for the Arrows here in this game.
And the other thing this serves to do if you're the Arrows is it gives you a little bit of confidence. You went down 1-2-3. It helps show you there are ways to get on base against Safransky. And if you're Safransky, it allows you to work under pressure a little bit and then try and put together some pitches.
Strike the call. 0-2 here to Bisker.
Bisker now some heavy lifting to do here, trying to help out Juergens, maybe get him a run or two.
That's going to take a hop, but a good block there by Oakland. Will throw to third. That was not a good throw, and everybody's going to slide over a bag as now the Arrows have runners in scoring position.
And the hard part is Cato's safe at third. He did not get a great jump on that as that ball got in the dirt. I think he thought it was going to jump away a little further. Good job by Oakland there, keeping that ball close. Unfortunately for him, not able to get the throw down.
That pitch going to go outside. Makes the count even at 2-2.
Good patience here by Bisker, forcing Safransky to throw a couple extra pitches and make him work.
Popped up, and we'll go foul. Count is still 2-2. Two in scoring position, 2 away, bottom of the second inning, the pitch. That is a ground ball, foul down the first base line.
And I can't sell you completely on how good a piece of hitting that was by Bisker to get that thing, spoil it away. That thing's at a low and away. That's a really hard pitch to go out and get, and he was able to just flick it away and live to see another one.
Big swing and a miss, strike number 3. The 4th K for Safransky as he'll get out of the inning. Watertown strands 2 on bag and no runs. We're off to the 3rd, 3-0 Harrisburg. This is Post 17 TV. Looking for family fun all in one place? Then come out to Legends. Tee off on their mini golf course. Race your crew in go-karts and strike up some laughs with mini bowling. Kids love the arcade, and parents, they've got you covered with cold beer and amazing food. And don't forget the cherry on top, SDSU ice cream. It's all happening at Legends, where fun meets flavor. Highway 212, Watertown. Mack Landscaping and Lawn Irrigation was started in 1983 and has developed into the top landscape and lawn irrigation business in the area. And it's not hard to see why. Just take a look at some of the work they've done. No job is too big or too small. Give Shane Mack a call at 605-880-6001 for landscaping, or Wyatt Mack at 605-880-0300 for lawn irrigation or lighting.
They say there's no guarantees in life. But who's they? And do they have Midco Internet? Now there's a guarantee. So let's go. Let's go reliable. Let's go resilient. Let's go beyond.
Esser, Beek, and Oakland due up here for Harrisburg. Top half of this 3rd inning, leading at 3-0. First pitch goes into a ball here for Esser as Juergens at 39 pitches coming into the inning. Fires that one for ball 2.
And at the end of the 2nd inning, both pitchers at 39 pitches, but a very different story for each pitcher.
Strike the call there, 2-1.
For Juergens, a lot of his extra pitches have come from guys getting base hits and getting on. for Safransky, you've had a lot of pitches that you've thrown because the Watertown batters have been able to spoil and fight and get to full count and ride things up quite a bit.
2-2 here to Esser. Did he get him there? He did. Rung him up. Strike number 3. The third K for Juergens and the first out of the inning. To the plate now for Harrisburg Gold is Ethan Beek.
For Esser there, I think he was probably trying to sit on a certain pitch, and where the pitch was, when you're not looking for that, it's really hard to pull that trigger and go get it.
First pitch goes down for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes here to Beek. Ball again, 2-0.
Pretty similar start to this at-bat for Beek. He had a 2-2 single, and now he's up 2-0. Let's see if Juergens can get back in the zone here.
Up high again, 3-0.
Based on what I'm seeing, Juergens trying to drive down the hill, leaving that upper body open, not bringing the ball down the hill with him.
Strike there, 3-1. Got him there again, fills up the count at 3-2.
And you can see him kind of overemphasizing that bend over the waist, get it over that post leg and bring it down the hill. The first one was a little bit of a bender and probably gets hit if it's not a 3-0 count.
That one is going to be delivered into shallow right. It's going to drop down for a base hit. And reaching will be Beek, as that one just in the perfect place. Olsen and Hemrick unable to come grab that one to make the out.
And really, that single, probably a product of the quality of contact that Harrisburg has had up to this point. They have driven the outfielders for Watertown back a little bit. That ball hung up in the air for a long time. However, because Olsen's had to play so deep, Hemrick's not able to go get it, and Olsen's not able to chase it in either.
Michael Oakland to the plate here for Harrisburg Gold. Takes in a first pitch ball. Talent at 50 pitches. It'll be interesting to see Coach Neal's strategy here for Talent, as that one goes for a strike. Had a short lease for Rylance yesterday. It'll be interesting to see if they pull Juergens in a similar aspect at 80 pitches to maybe keep him fresh for Saturday.
Well, and because we are on day 2 here as the runner goes.
Throw to second. Did not get that one in time. So taking second will be Beek, and let's see if he reached there. Oh, that is a close play to second.
You can hear the collective "oh" from the crowd, knowing Beek got in there. Even from here, because I know what to look for, it looked like he made it in ahead of the tag.
Popped up, and we'll go into the seats.
Going back to the pitch count for Juergens, because we're in day 2, your 80 pitches actually gets reduced to 60.
Oh, there, yep.
So really, if Coach Neal has a plan to try and keep Juergens around in case of emergency for Saturday, this is probably, if not the last batter, getting pretty close.
Down 3-0, though. You might think, all right, we just want to leave him out there and use him up. As that one's sent to center, Pitkin finds it. There's the out. Tag applied. Heading over to third in time will be Beek.
And again, we see that high quality of contact driving Pitkin back. He's already playing relatively deep and drives him back towards the WNC or First Bank and Trust sign there, deep enough to allow Beek to be able to tag up and advance. 2 outs now, but a runner on third. If you're Juergens, you got to execute some pitches here.
Ty Raymond to the box now for Harrisburg. Takes a big swing on a first pitch for a strike.
Raymond trying to, early in the count, do that damage, get the run in.
Strike there, as now Raymond is in the hole at 0-2.
After swinging at the first one, Raymond takes that one, and that's a really tough take because there's not really a lot you can do with it, but it's a strike. It's there at the knees.
Ball. 1-2.
Good patience there. Didn't go out and get it after getting the one before that painted.
Fouled into the backstop. 1-2. Beaks the man on third, 2 away here, top half of this third inning. Harrisburg Gold leading 3-0. Big swing and a miss. Strike number 3. The 4th K for Juergens and the final out of the inning. No runs on 1 hit, stranding 1 on bag. We're off to the bottom of the third inning, 3-0 Harrisburg. This is Post 17 TV.
Midwest Foam and Coatings LLC is a family-owned and operated full-service insulation company specializing in spray foam application and energy efficiency. They offer all types of insulation like spray foam, blown-in cellulose, blown-in fiberglass, and fiberglass bats. Midwest Foam and Coatings also does insulation removal along with specialty coating that can restore rubber and metal roof systems. Visit their website for more information at mwfoam.com. Good luck to the Watertown Post 17 baseball team from Midwest Foam and Coatings.
Between working on our farm and being a surgical nurse here at Prairie Lakes for 43 years, my shoulders have been through a lot. I needed a different kind of surgery. It's called a reverse total shoulder replacement. Different shoulders are different. With surgeons like Dr. Johnston here in Watertown, I didn't need a different city, just a different plan.
Prairie Lakes Healthcare System. Your health, our mission.
In the heart of South Dakota, where community and traditions thrive, ReliaBank has been a trusted presence for over a century. From our humble beginnings in 1920, we've grown alongside our communities, committed to financial success and community betterment. At ReliaBank, hometown customer service isn't just a promise, it's our legacy. Your success is our success, so let's keep growing together. Today, tomorrow, and for the next 100 years. Experience banking where hometown values still matter.
Hanson, Reese, and Olsen do up here, bottom of the third inning. Harrisburg Gold on top of Watertown, 3-0. Brett Nathaniel, Nate Russell along with you here, along with the crew from Aero TV and KXLG Radio. Glad to have you along here on Post 17 TV. We'll have KXLG inside the game, middle of the fourth, as they'll go inside the game to find out what's going on here at Watertown Stadium. Cole Hanson takes in that pitch, 1-1 and down 3-0 here. Cole Hanson, really good bunter, kind of that bunting specialist for Watertown, and it'd be really interesting to see if Coach Neal, if he, down 3-0, if he wants to play a little small ball or not.
And so far, reading the hands of Hanson, he hasn't given any indication that he plans on putting it down.
Had to get out of the way. 3-1. Safransky now at 42 pitches.
And I think some of what plays into that, too, now that it's 3-1 count, you saw a lot of pitches last inning. Safransky getting a little bit wild.
Full count now at 3-2.
And if you watched the third baseman, Kokenge for Harrisburg, they very clearly were keyed on a bunt there.
Got him. Strike number 3. The 5th K for Safransky, the first out of the inning. Back up to the top of the order, the second time through the order now, it'll be Hayden Reese.
That pitch coming through, a hard thing to do is read that pitch all the way through the zone against a guy that has a release point like Safransky, because it looks like that pitch is tilting in and your brain says pitch in, but as it comes through the zone, similar to, like, for example, a Garrett Crochet or a Chris Sale, right, you have to know that thing's coming kitty corner through there.
That one is going to go down the first base line. It stayed fair. Going to roll into the corner. No, it went foul, excuse me. One of those tricky ones there. I didn't quite see where that landed past the bag, but it'll go foul. So 1-1.
I have a suspicion that tracked the line most of the way down, probably kicked to the right just before the bag a little bit, and we have the advantage of having that first base umpire there, and he pointed to in front of himself to help make that call.
So 1-1 the count. That pitch goes up and away. 2-1. Ground ball, playable for the infield. Easy scoop up there. And it went out of bounds again.
Reese jamming himself there, got an inside-out swing, but still got it off the handle as that ball kind of rode in. But as it rode the first base line, it kicked to the right just enough to be foul.
Popped up and will go into the parking lot. Count still at 2-2. He'll send that one, and grabbed there by Raymond in shallow center for the second out of the inning.
And that fly out, similar to how Harrisburg reached in the last inning, going back to Beek, right? The outfielders having to play so deep. So far, Watertown hasn't done anything that's forced Harrisburg's outfielders back, and so an easy fly out there because of how shallow Raymond is playing out in center field.
Mitch Olson has an 0-1 count from Safransky. And scratch that to make it an 0-2 count here for Mitch Olson. Nobody on, 2 outs, bottom of the third inning. That's going to take a hopper, 1-2. Watertown last half inning, 1 run, stranded 2 on bag, both of those in scoring position. That's been Watertown's best chance so far of the ballgame. That one up high. 2-2.
And for Watertown, that was aided by a walk to Rylance, and then Hemrick found a way to get a single. And
that will be a ground ball scooped up there and tossed over in time for the final outs of the inning. 4-3 putouts, and Watertown goes down in the order here in the third. No runs, no hits, no one left on bag. We're off to 4, 3-0 Harrisburg. This is Post 17 TV.
Stop into Roy's Sports Shop for the newest and latest apparel, footwear, and equipment for your sports. Whether it's a new bat from Marucci, a glove from Rawlings, a new pair of shoes from Under Armour or Adidas, or a pair of Oakley sunglasses, Roy's Sports Shop has what you need. Check out their online spirit store for apparel from your favorite team or school. Let them know if you'd like to start a new online store for your team or organization. Roy's Sports Shop is a local business that has served our area for the past 50 years. Roy's Sports Shop, East Highway 212, Watertown.
Whether you're cheering on your team from across the state or across the country, just know right here in Watertown, Sharp Automotive is driving hometown pride forward. From new Chevys and GMCs to trusted service and parts, Sharp Automotive is proud to support South Dakota Legion Baseball in the next generation of hometown heroes. Shop online anytime at sharpgm.com. We'll be here when you're ready. Sharp Automotive, driven to serve and proud to support all baseball fans.
Top of 4, 3-0 Harrisburg. A winner of this one gets Rapid City 320 at 7 o'clock tomorrow. The loser of this one will get a tough one, Rapid City Post 22 at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Bracket looks like this. It's Yankton and Runner at 1 o'clock. Post 22 waiting the loser of this one at 4. And then 320 waiting the winner of this one at 7 p.m. It'll be Schlapko, Long, and Kokenge here for Harrisburg this half inning. Talent at 60 pitches. First pitch goes down for a strike for Schlapko.
And both pitchers, 55-plus pitches. Definitely a story of two different outings at this point, as that pitch is low for a ball. Really, for Juergens, the Harrisburg 45 has put up, what did we say, seven hits so far.
As that one's grabbed there by Olson for the first out of the inning.
And that's part of why your pitch count's so high, is you've given up a lot of contact. Now, you come into this game knowing that Harrisburg is going as well as they are offensively. That's going to happen, and you have to find a way to limit the damage that thing creates. Whereas if you're Safransky, you haven't allowed more than a single hit. But at the same time, you've gotten into full count after full count. And while you have Ks, your pitch count then continues to rise.
Gabe Long into the box now here. First pitch will go down low into the dirt for a ball. Up high there, 2-0.
And this is a tough spot. If you are Long, this is exactly where you want to be. As a hitter, you're ready for something extremely hittable here.
That's going to take a hop. 3-0.
That pitch left just a little short, didn't quite get all the way out in front of it and pulled it short. Now it's 3-0. I'm going to imagine Long does not have a green light here, but he's going to get a pretty good eye full of the baseball here.
As that one goes ball four, a 4-pitch walk for Long as he'll reach. We'll go back up to the top of the order and Eli Kokenge.
Interesting here, 4 straight pitches, relatively non-competitive with them. Nobody's going to go talk to Juergens here. They're going to trust him to have a pitcher's mindset, reset, and get back in the zone. Hopefully get a ground ball if you're Watertown and look to get a double play.
First pitch going to be popped up into right field, and that's going to drop down at the wall. On his way to third is Long. Standing at second there will be Kokenge.
Pretty good double there from Kokenge. He knew it was probably something, Juergens not wanting to fall behind again, probably going to be something to hit. He got a fastball about belt high and just powered that thing out to right field, just over the reach of Olson. You can see how deep Olson's playing already, and that ball still found a way to get over him, which means the exit velocity on that was pretty good. Now, Olson, I think, started to contend with, here in Watertown, we don't have a warning track, so we had to then contend with where is the depth of the fence, and probably lost track of it a little bit.
2 in scoring position here for Harrisburg, leading 3-0, 1 away. Top of the 4th inning. Don't forget, we'll have KXLG inside the game here, middle of the 4th inning.
It looks like Coach Neal going to elect to put Boucher on here after the 2 RBI double he had last time out.
As that one is the outs, going to be recorded at home as a little pop-up will be applied. The outs will be Long.
So a fielder's choice there. That ball bounced off home plate. Lake did a really good job of understanding the spin on that baseball, let it go out in front of home plate, fielded it as a fair ball, and then just touched home, took the out that was available to him. So Long retired.
Esser now to the plate here for Harrisburg. Bags loaded, 2 away. Strike the call here to Esser. Strike again. 0-2. Talent at 71 pitches as that one is popped up shallow, breaks tracking it down, finds it. Final out of the inning. Harrisburg threatens, but Watertown puts them down in the fourth. Here to end out the inning, Harrisburg still leads 3-0. Time now for the KXLG Inside the Game, and for that, let's throw it over to Jeremy Herbold.
72 pitches for Jerkins. 72 pitches for Talon Jerkins.
One of the biggest ones you'll find that's a good supporter, Connie Lake. Connie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Are you enjoying the state tournament?
I'm loving it so far.
Now,
You're doing a great job with all your interviews.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I tell you what, it's fun to talk to you all the time, Connie. You're a big fan. You follow all the sports. You're a big baseball fan. Who's your favorite player?
My grandson, Jonathan Lake.
I know you're super proud of him. But, you know, we have these broadcasts of the state tournament games on Post 17 TV, the Aero TV crew, and KXLG. That means a lot to you to be able to watch those when you can't get to the games, right?
It's absolutely amazing. I love the baseball but he's, you know, the other sports, if it's in the winter, the weather's bad, and I'm 99 now. So, you know, to be able to get out when I can, so I can watch it. You guys do a really great job. Aero TV is wonderful.
Sounds good. Before we let you go, you had a fun little story about Jonathan, who started very young.
Yeah, he started Legion play when he was just a freshman, and he was younger than all the other kids by a bit. But this group of young men have taken him in, mentored him, been kind to him, support him. I love watching them. They're such a team. They do stuff away from the ballpark. They're just great kids.
Absolutely. Connie, thank you so much. Game's going back on, so we'll talk to you again later, okay?
Thank you, Jeremy.
All right, thank you, Connie. Connie Lake, and that's KXLG Inside the Game.
Thank you much, Jeremy, as swung on and missed here for Pitkin. 1-1. Pitkin, Briggs, and Rylance due up here for the Arrows in the bottom of the fourth inning, trailing Harrisburg Gold 3-0. That pitch goes low, 2-1.
And if you're Harrisburg, that last half inning, a little bit deflating. You get bases loaded, you have an intentional walk to get the bases loaded, you get the soft ground out, fielder's choice, and then you just pop out and end the threat. Now, fills you with a lot of confidence, right? You had bases loaded again, so you're still right there. And if you're Watertown, you've escaped disaster once more.
How big is this inning here for the Arrows? Do they have to at least get a run across?
The hard part is you always want to get runs across, and to say it has to happen now is a little bit too definitive, as we're going to get a full count pitch coming here.
Pickett steps out. Now steps back in.
I think clarifying the count there with the umpire, making sure he understands the situation.
Big swing and a miss. Strike number 3. And the first out of the inning. 6K for Safransky, who's had 61 pitches. That'll bring to the plate Nathan Briggs.
And to kind of finish that discussion real quick, Brent, there's a point in time where it reaches in a game where you go, we have to get something, because it's not really looking like we're going to be able to get everything all at once. And the phrase that I used earlier is it's starting to get late early, right? It's the fourth inning. You still have a little over about 10 outs to play with here. You don't ever want to get to that last one and be short, but at the same time, those 10 outs doesn't sound like a lot when you've only put together really one credible threat.
It really shows the stat line. 8 hits for Harrisburg, just 1 for Watertown. Just shows you how this game has gone, and Safransky's really kind of been lights out on the mound.
He's doing a good job of attacking in certain spots, kind of spraying a little bit to get Watertown to expand as well.
But Schoen pulled back, ball 4. Still Watertown will get a man on here in the fourth inning. That'll be Briggs. And to the plate now is Rylance.
Briggs giving the token offering, if you will, at that bunt. Just trying to make sure that for as unfocused on the zone as Safransky seemed there, he has something extra to think about and try and contend with as he throws the pitch in and gets the walk.
First pitch popped up. Playable for the infield, and the easy out there for Safransky, the second one of the inning. And that'll send to the plate here Jonathan Lake.
And that's the dangerous part about a guy like Safransky is that delivery, that angle that the pitch comes in. It's real easy to get underneath the baseball, and that's exactly the kind of soft contact he's looking to get. He pops up back to the pitcher, and instead of being able to move up the runner, now it's 2 outs and just a guy on first.
First pitch strike into Lake. Lake, we asked him, do you have any superstitions? And he's just one of a couple of arrows that have superstitions. Lake has to eat a Snickers and drink a blue Powerade before every game.
I can honestly say I'm with him on the Snickers. So as a coach, I also have superstitions. And in between double headers, because I coach 16U, we have to go get a hot dog or a burger and a Snickers.
Bobbled there, toss over, still in time. Final out of the inning. 5-3 put out as Watertown will have no runs, no hits, 1 left on bag. We're off to the 5th inning as the Harrisburg Gold continues to roll here in this inning. Still pitching a shutout in the tournament. They won yesterday 8-0 and are leading right now 3-0. This is Post 17 TV.
Good luck to the Watertown Post 17 baseball team from Tony Arnold Construction. If you're looking for a general contractor for custom homes in and around the Watertown area or are in need of residential, commercial home, and commercial home remodeling, give Tony Arnold Construction a call at 605-880-8497 or email TonyArnoldConstruction@gmail.com. Good luck to the Watertown Post 17 baseball team from Tony Arnold Construction.
Baseball fans, stop into the Wheel Inn for some home-cooked food. Open 7 days a week, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner with the best staff in town. Plus, online ordering is available. Visit WatertownWheelIn.com to order your favorites. Come to the Wheel Inn before or after the game for your home-cooked favorites. Open daily, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Highway 20 in Watertown. Good luck to the Watertown Arrows in the State A Legion Tournament from the staff at the Wheel Inn.
We've been enjoying that wonderful Wheel Inn food here all week long at the tournament. Thanks to them for providing the catering here at the state tournaments. 5th inning of work. 3-0 Harrisburg. Beek, Oakland, and Raymond due up here for Harrisburg in this half inning as Juergens continues his crusade on the hill with 72 pitches. First pitch goes down for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes here to Beek.
And again, both pitchers at 70 pitches, just a slight difference in the quality and the tension of those pitches.
Olsen grabs that one for the first out of the inning. To the plate now, Michael Oakland.
Really important if you're Watertown here to get back in the dugout relatively quickly. Juergens going to look to attack, and hopefully the bats for Harrisburg have cooled off. If you're Harrisburg, you've been hot. You don't have to get hot, so it's just stay hot. You're hoping to extend this a little bit. If you can get Juergens up there throwing 15 pitches this inning, it could be the last time you see him on the bump tonight.
Big swing and a miss. 0-1 here to Oakland. Let's go back to our superstitions. I didn't write them down here for Harrisburg in this ball game, but I could tell you one for Coach Neal. So between games, I go down and I exchange lineups for each of them. That way I have them, so I bring them back up to the booth. As that one is sent grounder into center field. That'll be a base hit as Oakland will reach. And to the plate now, Ty Raymond. And one of the things I do is I exchange them between games between the coaches, so that way, you know, we're not running around and all that fun stuff. And
and I just bring them up. Now, I have to have the pink one. That is the one that goes to the booth. The pink one from Coach Neal goes to the booth. The pink lineup goes to the booth. Let me tell you, it works. There are times I might have forgotten. I won't say what games in the 13 losses of the Legion season I might have forgotten, but the pink one, the pink lineup card has to go to the booth. First pitch for a ball here to Raymond.
I'll tell you that's not one I've heard of before, but superstitions are born out of results, right? And so if it works, it works.
Fouled into the nets, 1-1.
And going back to mine, it's always a hot dog or a hamburger in between the games. You get a Snickers with it. You get the soda. You get bonus points, though, if the Snickers is cold.
Oh! That's just a sign of a good place. Get a cold Snickers, especially in a hot summer day.
And I'm not going to name any names, but you also get bonus points if the Snickers costs me less than $6. There are places out there that it's been that expensive like that.
In today's economy, I believe it. Strike the call. 2-2.
Juergens hoping to get a ground ball here, try and get 4-6-3, 6-4-3, get something going and get back in the dugout.
Hit sharply into center field, and that's going to drop down for a base hit. On his way to third is Oakland. That is where he'll stop. It's a double for Ty Raymond.
Pretty solid line drive out into the gap there. Both outfielders judging that thing to be hit too hard to be able to take an angle to cut it off. Hansen doesn't field it cleanly. However, no extra damage done as both runners advance on the double. But if you're Juergens, now the stress amplifies just a little bit more. Again, it's 3-0. You just want to make sure that you limit it to 0 or 1 and try and make sure that this game stays within reach.
Schlapko to the batter's box here for Harrisburg. First pitch strike for Harrisburg. They're still pitching to shutouts. One against Yankton, 8-0 yesterday, and here 3-0 against Watertown. That one going to go for a ball.
It's been just a little off the outside corner there. Juergens believes he's seen that pitch called before, so hoping he was going to get that one and didn't.
That is hit sharply into right field. That's going to be an RBI. Will it be 2? No, it'll be 1. It's an RBI single for Schlapko, 4-0 Harrisburg.
And I'm not going to say that's going to prevent an RBI, but that time the infield drawn in because of the runner on third. That ball hit sharply past Himrick. Even if he's in his normal position, he maybe gets over there and fields that, but he has to do that in such a deep position that the runner at third, Oakland, probably scoring there regardless.
And we will get a mound visit here. As they'll chat with Juergens at 85 pitches. What are you talking about with your pitcher here and your infield as well?
Well, we've got runners on the corners. We are one pitch away. You have to believe Harrisburg's probably going to put some type of action on here within the first couple of pitches to try and make sure they stay out of the double play. Not that they've grounded into a lot today or between yesterday as well to really be in a threat of that, but you want to make sure everybody's on the same page here in terms of, are we throwing it down, are we cutting the throw off, and then if they put action on how we're going to handle that in terms of if the runner breaks home, what are we doing with it. Obviously at 4-0 it's not ideal. 5-0 puts you in an even bigger hole considering how Safransky is going so far, so trying to make sure that we limit that run, trying to make sure it stays at 4-0.
Coach Geffrey returns to his seat, and we play on with Gabe Long. Still one away here in the top half of this fifth inning. Runners on the corners. First pitch goes down for strike. 0-1 to Long.
Juergens throwing an awful lot of fastballs, so Harrisburg probably going to try and pick their spot on when they send this runner.
Strike again. 0-2 to Long.
Probably here's where the runner's probably going to look to take the next bag.
Big swing and a miss. Strike number 3. Second out of the inning. Back up to the top of the order. The 4th time through the order now for Harrisburg. Kokenge will step to the plate.
I'm a little curious about not sending the runner there. Obviously, you have a runner at third. You don't want to run into a strike him out, throw him out. But at the same time, right, you're in threat of a double play there, letting your guy swing away.
First pitch. Goes for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes here to Kokenge. He's 3 for 3 tonight. Couple of singles and a double.
And not a quiet 3 for 3. Those balls have been stung so far.
Ball. 2-0.
Good fake there over at first base by Schlapkel. Secondary really looked like he's trying to take it. Now they're going to come out and make sure they talk. Coach Schmidt over on the bench there telling Lake, hey, we better go make sure we're on the same page again. Now the situation's different. We have 2 outs. We can look to get our out at second base if we can. We just got to make sure we get it, because if that guy breaks home and we give up another run, we're in a tough spot.
2-away here in the top half of the 5th inning. Harrisburg has already sent 1 across the plates. They sent 3 across the plates in the 2nd inning. Runners on the corners. Talon at 90 pitches. That one smashed. Left field, goodbye. Home run for Kokenge. Wow, what a shot.
Did a great job staying behind the baseball, but getting the bat head out there. Gets all of that one powered, and you knew it had pretty good distance behind it. Hansen, he gave it the token effort going towards the left field fence, but it wasn't super hard to tell. That ball's just going to keep traveling.
A shot there by Eli Kokenge. And now I missed what happened.
So
I was marking down my book.
I don't think we're going to be able to see exactly what happens here on a replay because of the gathering of everybody at home plate to celebrate that home run. But what the call is here is, as part of the celebration at home plate, they're saying Kokenge missed touching home, and then on appeal, so the ball goes back in play, and you can see here Kokenge kind of dances around it. That foot there should be the one that touches home as long. And it's really hard to tell because you've got Boucher there in front of the clip. But the home plate umpire, you can see him staring right down at the plate. There is no shot he misses seeing that or not. And on appeal, Lake gets the ball, touches home. And so the 2 runs in front of Kokenge score. Kokenge's run, however, is erased.
So Kokenge will not score. And it'll be 6-0 Harrisburg when it's all said and done after this one.
And I'm going to say an incredibly good piece of umpiring there by the home plate umpire, Warren, to be watching that. And now you say probably at home, well, isn't that his literal job? There's a lot going on there between the people celebrating and everything like that. So to verify and make sure that he knew whether or not home plate was touched is a really good piece of umpiring. And then to also know, hey, this appeal is probably going to come, and then call it correctly and wait for the appeal to happen.
So we are going to move on here. Guys, let's keep it here and we'll just kind of move on into the next inning, as we'll have Hemrick, Bisker, and Hansen due up here for Watertown. And this is why it pays to have an umpire explain what is going on out there, because I was going, what's going on? Our camera angle now, our angle up here at the booth, not very good, but man, the Aero TV crew all over it. It's a great view of that replay. So thanks and great job, guys.
Really good job getting a look there, and really good job of making sure that we at least had a look at it and having it loaded up. So we greatly appreciate that.
2-1 here to Hemrick. That is a ground ball, going to be scooped up there by Beek. Tosses over the head of O'Shea, and Watertown will get a man on here. Error going to be charged there by Beek. To Beek, I should say.
I'd be curious to see on the replay if we can get it. That ball took a funny bounce coming off the concrete. Normally the grounds rules here, if that hits the gray bars, going to be kind of hard to tell. If that hits the gray bars, that's actually part of the dugout and considered out of play, which would give Hemrick second base. The umpire standing there didn't rule it out of play, so it must have just been the way it came off the concrete.
That one smacked into left field. And coming in will be Long. He'll make that grab, the first one of the inning. One away to the plate now is Cole Hansen.
This maybe not a bad spot to try and get a drag bunt down, bunt for a single. Again, you only have now 7 outs to mess with, so kind of a tough spot again if you're Hansen.
Big swing and a miss for a strike for Hansen. Ball there, 1-1.
So the Arrows forcing Safransky into more pitches here.
76 on the game so far. 2-1.
And this is the kind of thing that it can lead to a rally. You get an error on that first batter, and all of a sudden things can kind of start to spiral if Safransky doesn't find the zone here.
Strike the call, 2-2.
That a very important pitch, because now you've got Hansen on his heels a little bit. Going to force him into doing something here.
That is going to be hit into left field, a base hit, and there's 2 on for Watertown here in the 5th inning. Hemrick to second, Hansen to first. And last time Watertown had 2 on was the 2nd inning.
Brent, it's a tale as old as time. You get a leadoff error like that, and all of a sudden the doors start to creep open a little bit. If you're Safransky, you got to find a way to get a ground ball and get out of this.
Ground ball scooped up there by Kokan. He'll toss across. Did he get him? Yes, he did. Got him in time. The 2nd out of the inning on the 5-3 putout, but advancing the runners into scoring position.
That a bang play. The advantage of a 3-man crew with runners on is we had somebody at first, and so that first base umpire stays there. Real close.
That is a ground ball right back to Boucher. He'll make that final out of the inning. Arrows threaten once again, and no runs. They'll strand 2 on bag. We are off to the 6th. 6-0 Harrisburg. This is Post 17 TV. William Neal & Company would like to wish the Watertown Post 17 Legion baseball team good luck this season. Another great team for all your auditing, accounting, and tax preparation needs are the professionals at William Neal & Company, a full-service accounting firm serving the area for over 50 years. Offices located in Watertown and Clark. Give them a call today at 886-6028. That's 886-6028.
Do something to launch your future at Lake Area Tech. It's a living, working, thought-producing environment to help you level up in the workforce. Combined with hands-on training and real-world experience, you'll be ready to find a high-paying career you'll love right out of school, the way 99% of our graduates do. It's the best return on your college investment, the quickest path to your future success. Lake Area Tech, the start of something new.
Glacier Lakes Power Sports and Golf is your indoor golf destination in Watertown, South Dakota. We have 4 golf simulators available to rent 7 days a week. Call us at 605-954-4080 to reserve your time, or visit our website at glpowersports.com.
Talon Jurgens' afternoon is done. He'll go 12 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks, 91 pitches. Kane Everson, the new pitcher here for Watertown, to begin the 6th inning, 6-0 Harrisburg. Kane does have a superstition. It's one that's gonna make us hungry. He never eats before a game. Never.
I have never understood guys that play like that. I have to eat before I go do the thing. I can't eat a lot, but to try and do anything athletic where you're going to expend that much energy on an empty stomach, I get some guys it makes them a little bit nauseous and maybe weighs them down a little bit, but to go empty is just, it's crazy to me.
I always have to eat before the game. I can't eat afterwards. So I always, when I'm doing games, we're out here probably, I get out here about 3:45, 4 o'clock. So I'm usually having supper about 3 o'clock. I'll grab a sandwich before I come on out here. It is Boucher, Muntz, and Esser due up here for Harrisburg. First pitch goes down for a ball. Strike the call, 1-1. Kane Everson, really that utility relief guy. Watertown, they know they can go to him pretty much at any time. If they need 2 outs, 3 outs, or if they need him to go a couple of innings, they will go to Kane Everson.
And Everson has an important job here. At 6-0, obviously there's a rally that has to happen. He has to make sure that it stays here. But the other part of his job here is you don't want to have to go to a third pitcher if you don't have to. And so be as efficient as possible. You want to maintain your eligibility for the rest of this tournament from a pitch count standpoint. So you want to be clean, but to make sure that they don't have to go to another pitcher going to be important.
That is delivered into center field. Will drop down for a base hit. Boucher will have another hit on the evening as he'll send that one into center. Tate Muntz to the plate now for Harrisburg.
And again, Pitkin having to check up on that ball, not quite getting there in time enough to be able to give it a diving effort and make sure that it stays a single. All a result of the quality of contact that Harrisburg has had all night long.
First pitch goes down for strike. 0-1 to Muntz. That one goes up high. 1-1.
I'm curious to see here if Harrisburg tries to push the action, getting Boucher in motion here. Really, you don't want to lose outs by needlessly running, but also you have a 6-0 lead. 10-0 saves you some pitches if you're able to close it out in the 6th at that point.
That one fouled off into the parking lots. 1-2 to Muntz. What's really struck me, and we've been talking about it all game long, Harrisburg, they have not allowed a run in the entire tournament. 8-0 was the win yesterday against Yankton, and right now 6-0 leading Arrows. As that one's going to go for strike number 3 and the first out of the inning. Bryson Esser to the plate now for Harrisburg Gold.
And for Safransky, you've only had a runner at third a couple of different times. Like the number of pitches you've thrown under stress is pretty low. You've thrown a lot of competitive at-bats, but having Rylance at third at one point and then Himrick at third here in this last inning, that's as close as you've come to giving up a run in this game.
Safransky going to be going to Augie this upcoming year. First pitch is going to be fouled off here for Esser, 0-1.
And yesterday I got a chance between games to sit down with USF's pitching coach, and he said they feel like they're in a much better position than they were when he originally got there, but trying to contend still with an Augie and with a U of M branch to try and challenge for the top spots in that conference as well as commitments. And so Safransky going to Augie, that's a good example of it, right? He had a few options right there in town and choosing Augie probably based on strength of program, and Augie probably choosing him because they've been a strong enough program over these last few years to have their pick.
That pitch going to take a hop. 1-2 to Esser. Man on first is Boucher. He's going to go to Iowa Central this fall. Plays baseball.
I don't know nearly as much about Iowa Central's baseball program, so I don't have any insights there.
That one delivered into right field. Grabbed there, Olson. Second out of the inning. 2 away. Ethan Beek to the plates now for Harrisburg Gold.
And that fly out, a good example. I've talked several times about the depth at which Watertown's outfielders are playing, but on that play, Olson only has to go just laterally to his right-hand side. He played perfect depth. They have to be playing where they are because of how hard Harrisburg has been hitting the baseball.
First pitch into Beek. Goes down for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes here to Ethan Beek. Winner of this one gets rapid 3:20 at 7 tomorrow. Loser gets rapid 22 at 4 o'clock. That is smacked into center field. That's going to drop down for a base hit, as it's a 2-out hit here for Harrisburg with 2 on now. As Boucher will head over to second bag. Michael Oakland to the plate. Oakland going to go to Mount Marty and play some baseball.
And on my wife's side of the family, we've seen a few family members go to Mount Marty. Pretty quality baseball program. I'm actually a Mount Marty alum, so that makes me excited to see a potential future Lancer coming up here as well.
A couple of arrows going to be heading to Mount Marty as well. Reese going to Mount Marty along with Himrick. Going to be playing some ball for the Lancers. 0-1 here to Oakland. Big swing and a miss. 0-2. Oakland 1 for 3. Had a single in his last at bat in the 5th.
For Harrisburg, a couple of singles here in this inning. If you're Everson, getting out of here with minimal damage is the perfect place to be. Singles are one of those that chips away station to station. As long as you limit them to 1 or 2 in the inning, you're going to do okay, even though you don't like giving up solid contact the way that he has.
So 1-2 the count here to Oakland. Everson fires. Ball. 2-2.
Really tough pitch to take there. That thing just off the corner. Pretty good eye there by Oakland. Now, he's the catcher. He should know exactly where the zone is, so that's maybe a little bit easier take, but the view is much different in the box as opposed to behind the dish.
Popped up and will go foul. Count is still at 2-2.
believe that pitch number 20 for Everson already in this inning. So the theme of pitch-heavy innings continues for both Harrisburg as well as Watertown.
That is going to be sent into center field, and grabbing it will be Pitkin for the final out of the inning. No runs, stranding 2 on bag is Harrisburg as we are off to the bottom of the 6th inning. Harrisburg Gold on top, 6-0. This is Post 17 TV.
The best way to get the most out of college is to do the most while you're in it. At Lake Area Tech, you'll learn in living, working environments with hands-on training and real-world experience to prepare for a high-paying career you love right out of school. From the moment you step on campus until you're one of our graduate success stories, when you start something here, you'll get an education you can really put to work and the best return on your investment. Lake Area Tech, the start of something new.
At Active Heating, you could say we specialize in comfort, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, air and water quality. Active Heating is ready. Too hot or too cold? Our certified comfort experts for Coleman Heating and Cooling Equipment can help. Don't let a leak drain your bank account. Our plumbers can handle it. Improve your air and water quality with an air purifier and reverse osmosis system from Active Heating, your local Coleman dealer. Active Heating of Watertown and Brookings, your comfort experts.
Looking for a way to show your school spirit and support the Watertown School District? With the Aero Spirit card from American Bank and Trust, you can do both. Every time you use your Aero Spirit debit card, a portion of your purchase goes right back to the school, helping fund important programs and activities. It's a win for you and a big win for our students. Visit your local American Bank and Trust at 1715 First Avenue Northeast today to sign up and make a difference with every swipe. American Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Bottom of the 6th inning, 6-0 Harrisburg. Watertown will send the 3-4 at 5 batters, Pitkin, Briggs, and Rylance. For Watertown here, 6th inning, you're running out of time. You got to get something on the board here in this inning. First pitch will go down for a strike.
And as a baseball team, what you talk about here is we don't have to get it all. It can't happen in one swing, so we need base runners.
Popped up and fouled away, 0-2.
And so you have to find a way to start to string together a few things, make something good happen. Like I said last inning, getting that error for the leadoff guy, Himrick, is kind of where that can happen.
1-2, Safransky at 84 pitches.
And if you're Safransky, I mean, this is probably your last inning, the way things have gone and the way you filled up the zone and the way that Watertown has fought off pitches. But I can't speak highly enough of the outing that he's had so far.
That's going to get past Oakland. 3-2. Ground ball and scooped up there by Beek, and a high toss across, going to go into the dugout. And reaching is going to be Pitkin, and he's going to be given the extra back.
That time, no doubt about it, the throw goes into the dugout. A little bit of a duck moment for the guys hanging out on the bench. The second time now that a runner's going to reach on an E6, and this time the damage a little worse as the throw goes in and a free base awarded for Pitkin. Let's see if Watertown can find a way to capitalize on it this time around.
Just a little too tall there for Boucher. That one going into the Watertown dugouts. Nathan Briggs to the plate here for the Arrows. First pitch goes low for a ball.
And Beek kind of has that gather and then kind of underhand throw, kind of that lower launch angle, and that's the kind of thing that can happen when you throw from that slot, is the throw can just take off.
Strike the call there. 1-1.
And we've seen it twice now. Now, some of that's about getting your feet under you. He has tried to take the crow hop, but then getting your upper body oriented towards first base.
That is a grounder into the gap, right field. That'll be a base hit. Holding up on third will be Pitkin. And there's runners on the corners here for Watertown. They've got something cooking here on the 6th with no outs. It's been the day of the comeback. Yankton came back in 9 innings to beat Pier 3-2. Brandon Valley almost came back to post 22. Ended up losing that one 11-9, but an amazing 7th inning rally by Brandon Valley, almost pulling off the upset. To the plate is Caden Rylance.
And if you're Cato, you got to stay within yourself here.
Oh, that's going to boink him, and we are loaded up. Hit by a pitch. Watertown's got him loaded up for Jonathan Lake. This is Watertown's best chance all day. They have stranded 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 5th, and 1 in the 4th. And now we're going to get a meeting of the minds here for Harrisburg as Safransky's had 92 pitches. You chatting about how you're going to play this one out there with your team?
I think more than anything, you're talking about Lake being the one at the plate. And given the runners, we're okay conceding a couple of runs here. Really what you're worried about is we need to go attack the batter. We need to make sure that if we can find a way to get a double play, we will trade 2 outs for a run, maybe 2 runs. There's only 6 outs left to get, and you have a 6-0 lead. If you can trade those outs for just a couple of runs, that's exactly where you want to be if you're Harrisburg.
Lake into the box. First pitch goes down for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes here to Lake.
And the other thing that does is it just allows Harrisburg to get Safransky refocused.
That's going to go in the dirt, 2-0. Maybe a little fatigue going on here for Safransky.
Of note, Harrisburg has not sent anybody down to the bullpen.
They have not.
To get warm. And at 3-0, you're sending a guy out there who you're hoping in 8 pitches gets loose and gets warm.
That's a strike. 3-1.
Jonathan going to be looking to do some damage here, knowing this pitch probably going to be in there.
Big swing and a miss. Full count now at 3-2.
Safransky, good heat on his pitches. You got to get that foot down early so you can be on time.
And got him there. Strike number 3. And the first out of the inning. That'll bring to the plate Trayton Hemrick.
Hemrick, good contact last time up. Going to look to build on that. He forced the beak error the first time around. So he's going to hope to put a line drive somewhere. Again, going to need to exercise a little bit of patience as Safransky's getting a little bit erratic.
First pitch goes for a ball. This will probably be the last batter Safransky sees, as that was his 99th pitch.
And the joke we always make in baseball there with a high and tight pitch is you have a helmet on.
That's popped up. Left field. Long will track that one down and make the second out of the inning. 2 away. To the plate now is Carter Bisker.
And that fly out not quite deep enough to be able to get Pitkin in on a tag up. I wasn't super impressed with the route that Long took to that ball. He kind of caught it off to the side, didn't really get himself in position to catch crow hop throw in case he needed to throw Pitkin out there. Now again, you're willing to trade the out for the run. 6-1 is still a pretty tough hill to climb.
First pitch into Bisker goes down for a ball. Strike there on the corner. 1-1. That is going to be delivered a foul down the first base line.
Good stop. Good choice by Bisker there to stay inside of that baseball, and did a good job of making sure he tried to hit to the opposite field, maybe give an opportunity for Briggs to chase Pitkin in there.
That pitch goes high. 2-0. Excuse me, 2-2. That's going to fill up the count at 3-2.
And walks a run here, but again, not the end of the world if you're Harrisburg.
Oh, that'll be just as good. Hit by a pitch, and Watertown will take it and get a man on, but still trailing Harrisburg 6-1.
You know, you say that's just as good. If you're Bisker, nothing about that is good. It was ball four regardless, and then you had to just wear that thing in the arm because of how hard Safransky throws. There was nowhere to hide on that pitch.
Safransky at 105, and that will be it for Safransky as the Augie recruits will head back to the dugouts, and I believe we're probably going to see a position player. It'll be, I believe, number 12. Kokenge is going to get the call.
Incredibly interesting. Kokenge, I'm going to say mystery man, or man of international mystery perhaps, coming into this tournament, having only thrown an incredibly limited number of innings. And for Harrisburg to call on him in this time is a really good example of they're going to try and make sure that this damage just ends. They want to make sure, hey, we need one out. You go throw that out. I'm going to guess that's all they're asking him to go do here.
Most importantly for Watertown, you get that one across, but that is the first run Harrisburg has given up in the tournament. 6-1, bottom of 6. Kokenge, the new pitcher here for Harrisburg Gold. As he takes his warm-up pitches, we'll see Cole Hansen to the plate. Two-away, bottom of 6. Watertown kind of struggling. Kokenge really showing off there tonight, showing off why he's going to Augie on the mound, as Watertown only able to muster 3 hits compared to Harrisburg's 14 hits in the ballgame.
It looks like Coach Neal going to put a runner in at first after Bisker wore that pitch. Can't really tell who it is, however.
Bags are loaded, 2 away.
Hansen steps in here.
So it is Rabine, all right. So Ashton Rabine will step to the plate here into the 9-hole for Watertown with the bags loaded. First pitch goes for a ball.
Good job by Hansen there, being patient. The thing I was going to say, Hansen stepping in. Kokenge, A, didn't ever go to the bullpen to get warmed up, and B, hasn't really thrown much this year. So exercising a little patience, not a bad idea.
That one going to go for a ball. 2-0.
Kokenge, I think, thought that one caught the corner. Not impressed with the ball there.
Strike the call, 2-1.
If you are an amateur baseball fan, there is a gentleman that has thrown in the EDL for a number of years and still throwing, as far as I know, in his 50s. And Kokench's windup reminds me a lot of his. And if that's the windup that lets you pitch into your 50s, Kokench probably on to something at this point.
(3-1). Up high, ball 4. Another run will come in. On a base on balls, Briggs will come in. Rylance to third. Rabine to second. Hansen to first. Back up to the top of the order. It is Hayden Reese, 4th time through the order. Defensive changes here for Harrisburg. Schlopkall now on third in place of Kokench. It goes Munson right, Raymond center, Esther over in left, Schlopkall on third, Beek short, Bow on second, Boucher on first, Oakland still behind the plates. Popped up into the seats.
After that first pitch, in my mind, kind of what I'm thinking about if I'm a hitter, Kokench walked Hansen on 5 pitches, and in reality, that's combined with the warm-up, probably about as much as a bullpen session. Kokench probably going to get locked in here. Got to be ready to swing the thing in the box.
That is going to get past Oakland, but everybody's going to stay in place.
Rylance, probably a good decision there. Understanding there are only 4 outs left to work with, really 3 functional outs to work with, not wanting to give one away. Kokench throws hard enough, that ball, and then Oakland had a good jump. That ball sat, but whew, it's going to take quite the speed to get there on that one.
1-2. Goes down for ball. Excuse me, a strike. It's 2-2.
If you're Reese, you got to stay ready to hit here. You have to protect. You don't want to go fish for anything, but you can't afford to go down looking here. You have to find a way to fight.
That's going to take a hop and bounce off, and a run's going to score. The 3rd one scored here in this inning. Watertown still trailing 6-3. As Rylance comes in on the wild pitch. Rabine to third. Hansen to second, so the open bag is first. 3-2. Into the dirt. That's going to put Reese over on first. He is the tying run for Watertown. The 9th batter to come to the plate now is Mitch Olson. Coach Neal going to come out, and Harrisburg's coach going to come out as well. Going to chat with Boucher a little bit. Excuse me, Kokench a little bit. 11 pitches so far for Kokench.
11 pitches, and of those, 3 strikes. And that probably something that Coach Hansen coming out and talking about here is, or excuse me, Coach Simmons coming out there and talking about is, we just got to find a way to get back in the zone. You have plenty of arm speed. That ball is going to do its job. It's going to be hard to get solid contact. You got to find a way to be in the zone. Of note here in this inning, 3 runs across for Watertown. 1, 2, 3, 4 free passes by way of walks, combined with the E6 by Beek. So if you're Harrisburg, this is all self-inflicted at this point.
Olson to the plate. First pitch, big swing and a miss for a strike. Olson 0 for 3 on the evening.
Olson not big on watching pitches go by, ready to hit right away.
Time is called.
Tough thing to do, come out and swing immediately when you've watched the two batters before you take walks. But again, Kokenge that much closer to locking in.
Had to get out of the way for a ball. 1-1 the counts.
And in baseball, we joke about, hey, a walk's a run, we'll take it any way we can. I don't know that I would be the first guy standing in there taking that right smack in the knee from Kokenge at that speed. I agree with Olson.
Ooh. Had to get out of the way again. 2-1. Yeah, I'm pretty sure those would leave bruises.
Now, Olson, not a lot there to protect some vital organs, but that one closer to the tummy, you could probably wear that one and get the RBI and be okay.
Big swing and a miss. 2-2, 2 away, top of the 6th inning. The rally caps on here for the Arrows.
If you're Olson, you watch those two before that come in. Hard to get that bat heated up to try and catch up to one that is in the zone at that point.
Big swing and a miss. Strike number 3. And the final out of the inning. Watertown sends 3 on the plate and leaves them loaded up. We are off to the 7th, 6-3 Harrisburg. This is Post 17 TV.
In town for the game or just passing through? Well, swing by Country Road Barn, home of the area's best smoked meats, brisket, ribs, pulled pork, all slow smoked to perfection and served with that small town charm. They're open Wednesday through Friday, 5 until 9 p.m., so plan your visit and bring your appetite. It's a true taste of small town South Dakota and worth every mile. The Country Road Barn, just minutes from Watertown and a home run for your hunger. Stay connected with them on their Facebook page or website.
As one of the nation's strongest financial organizations, First Premier Bank and Premier Bank Card have the strength to do good. We support nearly 700 organizations and nonprofits. Our employees give more than 30,000 volunteer hours annually. And we are continually seeking ways to make South Dakota an even better place to live. It's the Premier way. First Premier Bank and Premier Bank Card.
Beautiful night for baseball. You had a beautiful place, Watertown Stadium. We are off to the 7th and a good one. Harrisburg leading Watertown 6-3. Bottom of the order here for Harrisburg, Raymond, Schlepkel, and Long to the plates as Kane Everson continues up on the hill in relief and throws in a first pitch for a ball.
And if you're Everson, theoretically, this should be the part of the lineup that you're looking to go attack and collect 3 outs and get us back on the stick if you're Watertown. However, Raymond, a single and a double. Schlepkel, a single and a single. Long really is where you're going to probably try and get your out at. But for Everson, especially after the long inning that Watertown just put together, you want to get back in the dugout as quickly as possible.
14 hits for Harrisburg in this game so far. Big swing and a miss. 2-2. Sends that one into the seats. That was some quick moving by the fans over there.
We'll get a thumbs up from the crowd. Whoever had to wear that one, they seem to be okay. Whole lot of oohs on the way into the crowd with that ball.
Harrisburg did their damage in the 5th and the 2nd, both scoring 3 runs in those innings. That one goes low, fills up the count at 3-2 here to tie Raymond.
And having done baseball here for a while between umpiring, coaching, that area over there is one that always seems to collect foul balls. I've seen dangerous situations where a young lady was hit in the head.
Swung on and missed. Strike number 3. First out of the inning. Second time that Raymond has struck out in this one. Griffin Schleppkohl to the plate now here for Harrisburg. I've seen a few people get beamed over there. That's usually, the student section here for baseball, and I've seen a few kids over there that have to get out of the way pretty quick.
And so yesterday we were talking about what are the things we'd love to see in changes to the field. Getting the net to extend that far out, probably one of those things that should be looked at.
Ground ball scooped up there. Reese toss across, and there's going to be a collision. And the outs will be recorded there. The second one of the inning. Here's a look at this out. Good grab there by Reese, but there's the toss.
And you can see Reese takes the crow hop, but he never actually gets his body oriented so that he gets a straight line throw on that. Same thing that we've talked about with Beek, right? He doesn't get his feet pointed to the target, and then that throw goes long. And you can see the umpire jumping in between there after the contact in the first inning, making sure nothing escalates.
That one's going to go foul. 0-1 to Gabe Long. Harrisburg, another man warming up here in the bullpen. Almost took outs. Our folks in the KXLG tent. Ground ball scooped up there. Briggs toss across in time. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Watertown with a chance to win it as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. That's next as you listen and watch Post 17 TV.
Glacier Lakes Power Sports and Golf is your indoor golf destination in Watertown, South Dakota. We have 4 golf simulators available to rent 7 days a week. Call us at 605-954-4080 to reserve your time, or visit our website at glpowersports.com.
Infinity Fun is the place to be. They got trampolines, they got bowling, they got mini golf, they got games, they got food that's insanely good. Infinity Fun, they got trampolines, they got bowling, they got mini golf, they got games, they got food that's insanely good. Infinity Fun.
Open 7 days a week in Watertown.
Your starting lineup for KXLG Radio. Leading off at the front desk, Lori Kane. On the air, your power hitters, Jeremy Herbold, Ben Dilla, Jan Robson, Tim Williams, Gary Weckworth, Robin Givens, Doreen Foster, and Jaden Thomas. If it's news, Steve Jurens hits it out of the park. In sales, your closers, Andy Turback, Ben Dilla, Nicole Kraus, and Brody Reese. And skipper, Melissa Herbold. KXLG, your locally owned community radio station, still undefeated.
Watertown with a chance to win it here. Pitkins, Briggs, and Rylance due up in the 7th inning. As Watertown sending 3 across and sending 9 men to the plate in that 6th inning. And it looks like pitching going to remain the same here for Harrisburg.
The hard part here is all of that traffic almost exclusively by way of free bases last inning. So if you're Watertown, you have the right guys coming up to the plate here, as that pitch is going to be called a strike. So this is the dichotomy here. You haven't done a lot with the bat, but you do have the right guys up.
Kokench, 16 pitches in this relief appearance. 1-1 to Pitkin. That one goes low. 2-1. We did see some action in the Harrisburg bullpen just a little bit ago, so you got to wonder if Kokench continues to struggle if they put the hook on him.
Well, and I think the definition of struggle here probably is going to be something that's up for interpretation. If he issues a couple of walks, maybe. If what we're talking about is he struggles but he gets the outs, I think they just let him go and it takes whatever it takes.
3-1 the count here to Pitkin. Popped up and playable. Beek tracking it down, finds it on the sand for the first out of the inning. One away to the plates now is Nathan Briggs.
And that ball, what we refer to as a major league pop-up, that thing was up in the air forever. And Beek kind of tracking it around, had kind of retreated to the grass and then found his way back into the dirt, finally hauls it in. It had enough steam to it, it kind of pulled his glove down with it.
First pitch goes down for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes here to Briggs. Another ball. 2-0.
And this is the kind of thing that can happen for a guy like Kokenge, for a guy like Rylance, where you have a really big fastball. Sometimes teams are going to make you have to prove that you can put it in there before they're ready to swing.
Strike. 2-1. It's a Briggs.
And the other thing is, too, at a time in the game like this, a lot of teams will take the strategy of, we're going to make them throw a strike before we get the bat off our shoulder.
As that one is fouled away. 2-2.
If you're Briggs, you just need to find a way to turn the wheel here. If you're Kokenge, you don't want this to extend longer. Find a way to set him down.
Did he go? He did. Strike will be the call, and the second out of the inning, and now the Arrows are down to their final outs. And to the plate is Caden Rylance.
The infielders for Harrisburg talking to the outfield, telling them, want the ball, right? Go make a play for our pitcher. Get us out of here.
First pitch goes down for a ball.
I think that also speaks to the respect for the power that Rylance has, telling the outfielders, hey, this is likely coming your way.
Strike the call. 1-1. In the dirt, 2-1. That one is going to be delivered into right field. Tracking it is Muntz. And Harrisburg will move on by final of 6-3. The Arrows will get Rapid City Post 22 at 4 o'clock tomorrow. Harrisburg gets Rapid City Post 320 at 7 p.m. So the bracket will go like this tomorrow. Yankton and Runner at 1, Rapid 22 and Watertown at 4, Rapid 320 and Harrisburg at 7. And the elimination games are the 4 and 1 o'clock games tomorrow. Let's take a look at our post-game statistics. We'll first start out with Harrisburg. 14 hits in this game. A 4-hit night for Kokenge. 3 RBIs. Boucher, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. 3 hits for Beek. Oakland with the hits. Raymond with 2 hits. Schlapgall with 2 hits and an RBI. 33 at-bats, 6 runs, 14 hits, 6 RBIs, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Safransky goes 5 2/3 on the hill, 3 hits, 3 runs, 7 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Kokenge an inning and a third in relief, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks. For the Arrows, just 3 hits. It'll go to Hemrick and Briggs, 2 RBIs. That'll go to Bisker and Hansen. 26 at-bats, 3 runs, 3 hits, 2 RBIs, 4 walks, and 9 strikeouts. Juergens goes 5, allowed 12 hits, on 6 runs, 6 earned, 5 strikeouts, and 3 walks. Everson 2 in relief, 2 hits and 2 strikeouts. 6 runs on 14 hits and 2 errors for Harrisburg. 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors for Watertown. Harrisburg defeats Watertown 6-3. Harrisburg moves on to the championship side of the bracket. Watertown will move on to the loser outside of the bracket tomorrow. The Thursday games here at the Class A State American Legion Baseball Tournament. That's going to wrap things up here in the booth. We're going to take a break. The KXLG postgame show is next on Post 17 TV.
Looking for family fun all in one place? Then come out to Legends. Tee off on their mini golf course. Race your crew in go-karts. And strike up some laughs with mini bowling. Kids love the arcade. And parents, they've got you covered with cold beer and amazing food. And don't forget the cherry on top, SDSU ice cream. It's all happening at Legends, where fun meets flavor. Highway 212, Watertown. Mack Landscaping and Lawn Irrigation was started in 1983 and has developed into the top landscape and lawn irrigation business in the area. And it's not hard to see why. Just take a look at some of the work they've done. No job is too big or too small. Give Shane Mack a call at 605-880-6001 for landscaping, or Wyatt Mack at 605-880-0300 for lawn irrigation or lighting.
They say there's no guarantees in life. But who's they? And do they have Midco Internet? Now there's a guarantee. So let's go. Let's go reliable. Let's go resilient. Let's go beyond.
Back here, it's a KXLG post-game show as we have just wrapped up day number 2 here at the 2025 South Dakota State A American Legion Baseball Tournament. Fun game here that just wrapped up here in the winners bracket. It was Harrisburg pulling out a 6-3 victory over Watertown Post 17 Arrows. Quite a game, a lot of excitement. Crowd got into it. It's been a lot of fun. Roger, wow, what a game, huh?
Yeah, it was, and Harrisburg came to play and took care of things. So, you know, Arrows put up a fight, at least tried to go down with the fight anyway. So
absolutely. Well, let's bring in Eli Kokenge, the University of Minnesota commitment, a recruit. He had an outstanding game. And Roger, very impressive, wasn't he?
Yeah, wow. You hadn't pitched much all summer?
No, haven't pitched much all summer. You know, shoulder's been bugging me a little bit, but I'm glad I got to get back. You know, I wanted to get back on the mound because that's what I love to do. And, you know, struggled finding the zone a little bit, but eventually got to it, so.
Did you touch home plate?
Honestly, I was so in the moment and so excited that I don't even know if I looked down at home plate. I was just so excited to celebrate, and then all of a sudden I'm in the dugout and I get called out. So, you know, it's just one of those things where I just was really mad at myself. But
4 for 4, you come in and you save the game. A little bit of struggle, but you guys a sub 500 record. Now you're in the unbeaten game. Explain that. I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah. I mean, I think we.
On when it counts, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I think we knew how good of a team we are. I mean, all season we've been like not playing really good, honestly, and I think we knew we had so much more potential as a team, and just, you know, pitching staff, hitting, just all coming together at the right time, and, you know, that's state tournament. You know, anyone can win. So.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right.
Congrats to that. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Good job.
Yep, thanks.
All right. And we're going to bring in head coach here, and we're going to have Todd once again talk with Will. Boy, quite a game.
Ask him about the umpire.
Yeah. Anyway, well, congratulations, first of all. You know, it was one of those games, a lot of emotions on both sides. Starts out with a little controversy in the first inning. You know, I don't know what was said, but I really think that the umpire made the right call. And, you know, I mean, I don't know the official rule, but I thought it was the right call on both ends, and it worked out. So we talked a little bit before the game, and, you know, how excited you were to play here tonight again, and it was your thoughts as far as the game went.
Yeah, you know, it was a great atmosphere here in Watertown. We knew Watertown was going to be a good team, but it was a lot of fun. That first inning, was just a bang play at the plate, and I thought he made the right call. But yeah, it's very fun tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, the atmosphere has been great here so far tonight, and hopefully it keeps carrying out. As far as the rest of the tomorrow goes, you got a big game tomorrow against 320. They're kind of on a roll. You guys are on a roll. Both sitting in the undefeated games. And what do you expect for tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, kind of ironic. 2 bottom seeds playing the championship, or not the championship game, but the winner's bracket game. But it's 2 of the hottest teams in the state right now, and it's going to be a good one.
Absolutely will be. We look forward to that game tomorrow night at 7, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
One more thing, Coach. How about Eli's performance tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he was awesome. Struggled a little bit pitching that last inning, but calmed him down a little bit and told himself that he's Eli Kokench and he can do this.
Starting pitcher. We have 6 solid.
Darren was fantastic. I couldn't ask for more, and those 2 guys just brought us a win.
Well, awesome job to you guys. Congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Appreciate it. Okay. Well, guys, that was quite a game there. A lot of emotions going on, and the whole home plate situation, whether he touched or not. You're an umpire, Roger, so give us your take.
Well, now that I've talked to a few other umpires, we didn't properly do the appeal, and he should have gotten the home run instead of the triple. But I think Harrisburg had the call at the plate in the first inning. They wanted to get Johnny for blocking the plate, but he's allowed, if he's fielding a throw, to move over and perhaps get in the guy's way. And I would have had a hard time calling anything different on that one. And it was just a great play by Nathan Briggs to make that happen. So, but the most important thing of the day is you got 2 teams that are seeded 7th and 8th. It seemed like they struggled all year long, and it's just like they really have played the best 2 days out of anybody.
Clubs are looking tough. And Todd, as we get ready for tomorrow, did you think that we would have Harrisburg and Rapid City Post 320 in the 2 undefeateds that were left at this point?
Absolutely not. I would think, probably you see your higher seeds anyway, but not 7 and 8 here. But again, they're both playing good baseball and hitting the ball well. Both teams are really hitting the ball well. You look at 320 this earlier today. They, did some small ball stuff once they got the lead and kept the ball in play, and really did a nice job there. And then tonight Harrisburg hit the ball really well at times, and obviously with their defensive guys behind them, they had a good night. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Well, thank you guys for joining me once again. It's been a long day, of course. We're done with day number 2 of the South Dakota Class A State American Legion Baseball Tournament here in Watertown. Day 3 coming up tomorrow. Instead of 4 games, we're down to 3 games, but they're going to be 3 exciting games, and they're going to start off tomorrow in the losers bracket side of things at 1 o'clock with Yankton taking on Renner, the Post 307, the Royals. That'll be the first game. That's at 1 o'clock tomorrow, so let's keep that in mind. That's at 1 o'clock. 4 o'clock, the other matchup between Rapid City Post 22 and elimination contest taking on the Watertown Arrows. Both teams with 1 loss. That's a matchup maybe we didn't expect to see at this point of the tournament. Maybe thought that would be a little bit later, but they're going to meet tomorrow. 1 moves on, 1 goes home. And then tomorrow night, it's a matchup of the undefeateds. And like we said, probably not a lot of people thought that this would be where we were at this point. Rapid City Post number 320, the Stars, undefeated right now, and undefeated Harrisburg will clash tomorrow night at 7. We'll have all 3 games for you on YouTube, on Post 17 TV. That's going to wrap it up for us, and that is the KXLG Postgame Show. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you to Roger. Thank you to Todd, Benny before as well, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Have a good night.
You've been watching coverage of the 2025 Class A American Legion Baseball Tournament on Post 17 TV. This has been a presentation of the Watertown Baseball Association in partnership with Aero TV and KXLG Radio. Like and subscribe to follow more of the purple and golds.